Ladies and gentlemen, we are expecting member operations and business development to join us in a short while. I kindly request everybody to please take their seats. Sir, sir. Imagine a future where goods move across the vast expanse of India with unprecedented speed, efficiency, and sustainability, powered by a modernized rail network. This just isn't a distant dream. It's a potential reality knocking at our door. However, the path to this future is paved with both significant challenges and groundbreaking opportunities. Today, our crucial task is to navigate this complex landscape together, exploring how Indian Railway logistics can overcome the hurdles and embrace innovation to truly power our nation's growth. With this thought, I welcome you all to the Center for Transportation Research and Management's 25th National Logistics Seminar. The theme for this year's seminar is Challenges and Emerging Opportunities for Rail Logistics. Ladies and gentlemen, today's event promises insightful discussions on rail logistics with some engaging discussions lined up. As we begin, I'd like to acknowledge some esteemed guests who are joining us here today. We have Shri Hitendra Malhotra, Member Operations and Business Development Railway Board. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause? Shri Amit Vardhan, Additional Member, Tourism and Catering Railway Board. Shri Sanjay Swaroop, CMD, Container Corporation of India Limited. Shri Prabhas Dansana, Principal Executive Director, Traffic Transportation Railway Board. Shri Pradeep Kumar Ojha, Executive Director, Traffic Transportation Railway Board. And Shri Amit Kumar, Executive Director, CTRAM. I would now request the dignitaries to kindly join us on the stage. Thank you. Before we begin today's event, I request the audience to please stand and observe 2 minutes silence for the loss of our fellow Indians in Pahalgam. Thank you, everyone. Martin Luther King Jr. once famously said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that." With this message, let's proceed towards the lighting of the lamp, symbolizing the illumination of knowledge and progress for our discussion today. I invite the dignitaries to join us on the stage for this auspicious occasion. Thank you, sirs. I now invite ED CTRAM Amit Kumar sir to kindly present a green welcome gesture to our dignitaries. First, sir, kindly present to Shri Hitendra Malhotra, Member Operations and Business Development. Shri Amit Vardhan, Additional Member, Tourism and Catering, Railway Board. Shri Sanjay Swaroop, CMD, Concor. Shri Prabhas Dansana, PED, Traffic Transportation. Shri Pradeep Kumar Oja, Executive Director, Traffic Transportation. I now invite Shri Amit Kumar to deliver the welcome address.
Good morning to you all. It's a pleasure to welcome our esteemed guests on the dais, Shri Hitendra Malhotra, Member Operations and Business Development, Shri Sanjay Swaroop, Chairman and Managing Director, Container Corporation of India, Shri Amit Vardhan, AM Tourism and Catering, Railway Board, Shri Pradeep Dansana, PED TT, Shri Pradeep Oja, EDTT and Treasurer of CTRAM. I welcome you all, dear delegates and members of media, to this day-long deliberations. As you can see, it is the 25th seminar in series. We at CTRAM are dedicated to realize the dream of our founding fathers. Here, I would also like to acknowledge the two of our stalwarts who are present today with us, Shri Raghudayal sir and Shri Mahesh Kapoor sir. Please grant round of applause for them. CTRAM is committed to provide a platform to logistics fraternity, industry, government bodies, and all stakeholders to discuss topical issues pertaining to logistics sector and contribute in a meaningful way to the development of the sector and the economy. Logistics cost and sustainability are major concerns today, and I'm sure that they will have insightful discussions in these directions. You will have plenty of opportunities to discuss and interact on various issues. This seminar, in fact, is just the beginning of the financial year. And I can assure you that you will get to hear a lot more from us at CTRAM during the year. We have lined up a lot of activities during the financial year, coming financial year. I won't take much time. Thank you so much. I welcome you all once again and have a great day. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for such a warm welcome. I would now request Sri Amit Vardhan, AM, Tourism and Catering, to brief the audience about Center for Transportation Research and Management.
Respected MOBD sir, Shri Raghudayal sir, Shri Mahesh Kapoor sir, CMD Concor, Rail
DCTRAM,
Logistics
sir.
being organized by
DDTTM.
CTRAM. I joined as life member of CTRAM years back and have witnessed its steady growth since its inception in December 1998. It has developed into a fairly robust organization which consistently organizes national seminars, studies, and lectures on various technical and topical subjects and brings out a range of educative technical journals. I have attended several national seminars conducted by CTRAM and have invariably been struck by the high level of discussions in these seminars and the deep insights that one gets of an entire gamut of issues. This is a result of the fact that CTRAM brings together very seasoned and experienced professionals, academicians, and policymakers on one platform. As we are all aware, times are changing in an exponential manner. Hence, we need to keep running faster and faster to try and catch up with ever-changing requirements and trends and ever-increasing customer expectations. Massive technological changes are occurring. Artificial intelligence and machine learning are emerging as major disruptors and facilitators. There is ever-growing competition with alternative modes of transport, in particular the road and aviation sectors. A very fast-growing e-commerce sector is bringing about paradigm shifts. Hence, there is a need to keep reinventing our systems, structures, and procedures. Our ways and pace of working need to undergo massive changes, as also our attitudes. These changing trends can lead to an entire range of areas where there is a huge potential of research and training, and there enters CTRAM. For example, studies about use of AI in areas like train paths optimization, predicting cargo volumes and demand patterns, optimizing rake allocations, automated freight terminals and scheduling, chatbots for ticketing and complaints, dynamic pricing, crew rostering and scheduling, crowd analytics to manage passenger flows, predictive maintenance, asset management, etc., etc. Then there can be data-driven design for multimodal stations. Those studies can be undertaken. Smart ticketing, barrier-free access, ergonomics and health of loco pilots and train managers, especially on long hauls, intermodal integration models, fare interoperability, research in RFID and blockchain for real-time cargo tracking, etc. CTRAM can play a critical role in undertaking research studies in these and related areas. As ED CTRAM sir has said, CTRAM has planned to undertake comprehensive studies, sectoral studies, to examine future logistic requirements in these sectors and to recommend least cost sustainable solutions. CTRAM also plans to analyze perishable and cold chain logistics and identify opportunities for improvement. They're also looking at a series of learning and development programs. And the ambition is also to plan an international logistics conference in collaboration with international bodies. These are exciting times, not business as usual for CTRAM. The endeavor is to grow in leaps and bounds, which will require support of all stakeholders in a big manner. Today's seminar will take a close look at the cement and automobile sectors and cargo aggregation and BOG. I'm sure that engaging discussions will take place and throw up specific actionables which can be acted upon by policymakers who are a part of this August gathering. I wish the seminar all the very best. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir, for briefing the audience about the important role CTRAM is playing in the transportation domain and briefing about today's line of events. I would now like to request CMD Concor, Shri Sanjay Swaroop, to share a few words.
Shri Hitendra Malhotra ji, respected MOBD and chief guest for this program, dignitaries on the dais, senior members Raghudayal sir and Mahesh Kapoor sir, captains of the industry, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to you all. At the outset, I will like to thank CTRAM for giving me an opportunity to express my views. The topic chosen for today's seminar, Challenges and Emerging Opportunities in Logistics, is very, very apt in today's scenario. The scenario in logistics is very challenging indeed because of the various geopolitical disruptions that we are facing, and these are leading to various disturbances in supply chains across the world. At the same time, there are a lot of emerging opportunities. It's a very interesting time, I should say, because there are several innovations taking place in the world of logistics, leading to various supply chain efficiencies also at the same time. I will like to list few of them. First is the commissioning of dedicated freight corridor, which is almost complete in our country. It is leading to predictability in movement of goods, which is a primary requirement of logistics apart from cost. Then double stacking is going to take place in a big way, which is leading to economies of scale and thereby bringing down the cost of logistics. Then next is the excellent highways and expressways that are being constructed in the country. I don't see it as a very big threat to Indian Railways, but it is leading to reduced transit time and again, very good reduction in logistics cost. Next is the high capacity wagons that we are going to have for container industry, like BLSS, BLCS, which is leading to more payload capacity of our rakes. It leads to more double stacking, and ultimately it is beneficial for the trade. Then in road, there are a lot of multi-axle trucks which are coming up, leading to various innovations, and this is further leading to reduction in logistics cost. Then as far as sustainability, which is also very, very important, green logistics, on that also there are a lot of developments that are taking place. LNG trucks have come in the market, which can carry 55 tons of payload for 1,000 kilometers in one fill. And this is leading to a revolution, I should say, in logistics, in green logistics. Then electric trucks are also coming in our country, which can only run up to 120 kilometers at present. But lot of research and development is taking place in battery technology. And I am in touch with various EVs, and they are telling that within 3 years, this 120 kilometers distance in single charge, they will take it to 500 kilometers. Once EVs come for 500 kilometers, they will also be very beneficial for the industry and for our country in a long way. Then there is a lot of technology infusion in logistics. Although logistics is a low-tech field, but there is a lot of technology infusion in logistics, like artificial intelligence, machine learning, then logistics apps are being launched by various companies. Then there are online track and trace facility of cargo for customers, RFID, etc. All these are technology infusion in the field of logistics, which are leading to more customer satisfaction. Government is also focusing on development of new ports, like Vizhinjam port has come, Vadhavan port is going to come. So government has got infrastructure agenda, which will ultimately benefit the cargo movement and logistics. There is a great opportunity to tap the domestic market in India, which is a very big market in the world. All the MNCs are eyeing this market, so they are coming to India. So this will further lead to more and more need of logistics and logisticians, logistics managers, and a lot of innovations will be coming along with the various penetration of MNCs in our market. So all in all, it's going to be a mixed bag, and I feel that logistics has got a great future in our country. I compliment CTRAM for choosing such a nice topic for today's seminar, and they have curated 3 sessions, which are also very, very relevant, like cement logistics, automobile, and aggregation and balance other goods. And they will be very interesting. We have very good lineup of speakers. I am sure definitely some good points will emerge from this seminar. I wish this seminar a great success. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for making us aware of CONCOR's latest endeavors and innovations. I would now request our chief guest, Member Operations and Business Development, Shri Hitendra Malhotra, to enlighten the audience with his address. Ladies and gentlemen, please have a big round of applause for Shri Hitendra Malhotra.
Namaskar, Suprabhat, a very good morning to all of you. Secretary CTRAM, Shri Amit, Shri Sanjay Swaroop, CMD CONCOR, my other colleagues on the dais, my colleagues here, industry partners, and all others present here. I am very happy to spend some time with you. Let me share some of my thoughts. Let me begin with this information. Many of you are already aware. Rail share in 1950 was 86%. Now it is less than 30%. And we all know it is 90% less polluting than road transport. If a rail share reaches 50%, logistic cost will drop by 2 percentage points. So that will be a big gain. So we have to bring down our logistic cost. And in that direction, as our country is growing, rail infrastructure has to grow at faster speed. And with the present government, this is the best time for railways because maximum investment is coming in the railway sector to take care of logistics and industry demand. So with this, I'll start. First of all, congratulations to CTRAM for organizing this 25th seminar. As I understand, CTRAM has played a crucial role in bridging the gap between industry and railway policy makers. So with this exchange of idea, definitely we will have some actionable points to have a win-win situation. And theme is challenges and emerging opportunities. And it is here Indian Railways want to tap and partner with the industry to drive Indian Railways growth towards our target of 3,000 million ton per year. And at present, we have just crossed 1,600 million tons. So, as I understand, distinguished panel of speakers will share their experience from decades of their work and how we can work together to increase the rail share. You are also aware that India has committed towards a net zero goal, and railway has a key role to play. For this, logistic industry requires a major shift from road to rail and creation of capacity. So, massive rail capacity creation is being undertaken by the government with a record infusion of capital expenditure to the tune of 2.5 lakh crores per year. So this is going into creation of additional track network, modern rolling stock, terminal infrastructure, modern signaling, and safety. We have also created a fertile ground for private participation in all these areas, especially through wagon investment schemes, Gati Shakti cargo terminals. To give an example of what has already been achieved, 2 dedicated freight corridors have been created to cut the transit times, increase reliability. Indian Railway is furthering this through a corridor-based approach in which 3 more corridors have been announced: Energy Mineral Cement Corridor, High Density Corridor, and Rail Sagar Corridor. Over 1 lakh new wagons have been inducted in last 3 years. So, there is no wagon shortage as of now, which includes many modern designs, commodity-specific designs. 100 number of Gati Shakti cargo terminals have been commissioned so far, and more are in the pipeline. About 10,000 crores have been earmarked in improving railways terminals. With this big picture, we also need a nitty-gritty level detailing for each sector to understand their needs and cater to it. So this is where such seminars come in. In the cement sector, logistics is moving from bagged to bulk transportation, and current rail share is hardly 10% out of 70 million tons basket. So it is projected that this will go up to 180 million tons in next 3 years. So railway is also planning to align towards this. We are working to come up with a bulk cement policy to increase rail share, say up to 25%. For that, handling infrastructure is required at the terminals. Special purpose rolling stock is also required to achieve this target. And private participation in wagon maintenance will also be required without compromising on safety. And for that, we need skill centers to develop the manpower accordingly. Automobile sector has been a true success story for Indian Railways. Car manufacturers have shown great interest in partnering with Indian Railways. With only about 10 rakes 10 years back, we currently have over 170 rakes, and further 100 rakes are in the pipeline. So the growth has been 15 times in the last 10 years. To share an example how Indian Railways partnering with the industry needs, we all see SUV type cars on the roads. We have given incentives for moving SUV type cars in the taller height wagons. As Indian Railway routes, some of the routes were not fit for it, a massive year-long exercise was undertaken to make several of the routes fit for running of these rakes. So we are continuing to proliferate these routes. We are also increasing the terminals and stockyards. safety and security of consignment is crucial in automobile and consumer durable sectors. So I have a small suggestion to automobile carriers. In road sector, the e-locks are being now widely used. So they can also use in our rakes so that the consignment is secure and we can then scale up if it is a success. So while Indian Railways has been traditionally a bulk mover, it has made significant efforts towards mode of choice for small parcel sizes too. So we have two types of aggregation of wagon loads to make a train load, which domestic container train operators, where they are a strong player in here, and aggregating further smalls to make a wagon parcel van load. Launch of virtual aggregation platform last year, which is a marketplace oriented platform, is transformative. This is playing the role of marketing and aggregating the consignments. With competitive tariff, the industry has shown good interest and this is being proliferated on other routes. Now, only complaint which comes is that transit times are not assured. So let me promise you, very shortly you will see that we will guarantee assured transit times. We are coming with various innovative products and services such as mixed train to guarantee transit time, double-decker coaches with passengers on the top tier and parcels in the lower tier, and a Vande Bharat Freight Express is also in the pipeline, which will run as a super-fast train carrying the cargo. So we are also looking to pilot end-to-end delivery of small parcel goods at various stations as well, to partner with the industry so that this first mile, last mile gap is also covered. To address the issue of shortage of parcel vans, Indian Railway has liberalized the policy to include traditional BCN wagons to be used as deemed VPs at lower carrying capacity. We also expect from the industry about reasonable commitment of demand. I also want to share a specific example of this. We were given to understand there is substantial ceramic tiles and sanitary ware moving from few clusters in Gujarat to all over India, but railway tariff were not competitive. We worked with container train operators and have given an incentive in the return direction, that is empty direction, to make it viable for the operators. But tariff is not everything. We need a close synergy and solution to make handling and movement seamless. It is imperative to address the role of technology in reinvigorating logistics industry. Adoption of digital technologies such as IoT enabled tracking, data analytics, automation, condition-based monitoring. These can revolutionize the way we manage and monitor transportation networks. So Indian Railways, in collaboration with CTRAM, must lead the charge in embracing and implementing these technologies to stay ahead of the curve. With this, I look forward to very fruitful discussions, collaborations during course of this seminar, and I wish all of you very best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words and paving the way forward for this interesting day ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, we would now break for tea, and I would now request everyone to please gather by 11:30 for our first session on cement logistics. And once again, I would like to thank everybody here on the dais for their presence today and inspiring us as an audience. Thank you. The presenters for the first session, Shri Rajiv Mehta, Shri Santosh Sinha, and Shri Praveen Garg. I would request them to kindly meet with Shri Ramani for their presentations. Thank you.
की बोतल भी हटा लेना नीचे से लगी हुई है। मेरे को तो माइक लेके आना।
Welcome back, everyone. We all know the famous adage: logistics is the lifeblood of an economy. An efficient and robust railway system is the backbone of a thriving logistics sector. As the famous historian Alfred Chandler said, transportation is civilization. By strengthening our railways, we strengthen the very core of the nation's economic growth. With these words, I would like to begin the first session of the day, the cement logistics session. I would now request our esteemed speakers from the cement sector to kindly join us on the stage. I welcome Shri Rajiv Mehta, Senior President, Ultratech Cement; Shri Santosh Sinha, MD, CWC. Ladies and gentlemen, may we please have a round of applause for our speakers. Shri Praveen Garg, CLO, Adani Cement. This session will be moderated by Executive Director, Traffic Transportation Railway Board, Shri Pradeep Kumar Oja. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome him with a round of applause, please. Thank you, speakers, for agreeing to join us for today's session. I now invite Shri Pradeep Kumar Oja to brief the audience about the cement sector.
Good morning to everybody, distinguished guests, industry experts, fellow officers, and representatives from cement sector. It is a pleasure to welcome you all to the first session of this 25th National Logistics Seminar on cement sector. As the moderator, my role is to guide today's discussions. But before we get into the presentation, I would like to set the tone for with few operating thoughts. Cement is not just the product, it is the foundation of infrastructure, from highways to high-rises, from metros to industrial corridors. Every vision of a developed India depends on the strength and supply of cement. And as the demand for the cement grows, so does the need for a reliable, efficient, and cost-effective logistic backbone. That is where railway comes into. Railways, why railways? Railways are uniquely positioned to serve the cement industry for several reasons. First, they can handle large volumes. They are energy efficient and environmentally efficient in comparison to other competing modes of transport, as it consumes less energy and reduces emission of greenhouse gases. They support long distance, high frequency logistics better than the road transport. Now, India is the second largest producer of cement in the world after China, with a production capacity of more than 600 million tons, and which is likely to reach more than 800 million tons by 2030. The production of cement depends upon the demand in the country, and it remains approximately 65 to 70% of total installed capacity. Last year, cement production was almost 420 million tons. This year, we are likely to touch more than 440 million tons. Now, as far as railways is concerned, cement and clinker combined together is the third largest freight contributors, both in terms of volume and in terms of revenue also. After the first one is coal, followed by the iron ore. And we deeply value this partnership. Last year, Indian Railways has loaded almost 150 million tons of cement and clinker combined together. Now, the per capita consumption in India for cement is 250 kg, as against the world over average of 560 kg. Due to huge thrust on capital investment by government on development of infrastructures, including rail, road, port, housing for all, and mission smart cities, the demand for cement is likely to go at a level of 5 to 6% per annum. And this shows that there is a huge demand in future for transportation of cement. Now, opportunities for collaboration and growth. Now, Indian Railways has set a target of 3,000 million tons by 2030, and increasing the rail share from present 28% to 45%, as per the National Rail Plan. What has been done now, the two sectors, Eastern DFC and Western DFC, has been commissioned, except a short leg of 120 km from Kharbav to this JNPT. It has improved the mobility across the railways and helped in reducing the cost of transportation. Now, railway itself is adding almost 5,000 km of network per year due to huge investment on infrastructures. And we are also working on connectivity to port, energy, and mineral corridors. Development of Gati Shakti cargo terminals, PFT, private siding, and new plus alternate terminals where there is a huge congestion is facilitating the faster release and quick evacuation of wagons. Ease of doing business is improved through e-payment, e-registration of demands, electronic railway receipts, transmission of electronic railway receipts, and online waiver of demurrage and wharfage charges. Policy initiatives for short lead concessions, TFD, traditional empty flow direction, and station to station road for transportation of railway products. Now we had also inducting almost 35,000 wagons per year from last 3 years, due to which we are now able to meet the demand even during the peak hours. And now they have been designed in such a way there should not be dearth of wagons even peak time for any demand remains unmet, so that we can supply the wagon as soon as the demand remains in the industry. Now we are also inducting more than 1,100 wagons, locomotives per year, so that the shortage of locomotives should not come into the way of establishing of rakes. There is also great potential in multimodal connectivity, where railways integrate seamlessly with road and port logistics, creating end-to-end solutions for the cement sector. But there are challenges too. As we all know, challenges are part of any evolving systems. First is the first and last mile gap, which remains as concern for, as many of the cement plants are not on the railway network, and they are not able to transport the commodities from their plants to the terminals. Second is decarbonization of cement industry because of adequate norms by the Ministry of Environment. Now, decarbonization of cement industry can be done through innovation and technology advancement to reduce the carbon footprints, ongoing merger and acquisitions to reduce the cost of productions of the cement, a rising input cost for the industry, which comes into the way of reducing the prices for the cement in the economy. Then congestion at terminal sometimes delays the loading and unloading efficiencies and affect the supply chain of wagons. Tariff competitiveness and flexibilities are area the industry would like to see resolved. Now, one is we are almost transporting 70 million tons of bulk cement per year, in which the share of the railways is less than 7%. Out of 70 million tons, we are almost transporting 5 million tons only. And this is another area where demand for the cement will grow by 7 to 8% per year, and it is expected by 2930, it is likely to be almost 170 million tons. Since the rail share in this bulk cement is only 7%, it is in the interest of both railway and cement industry that how the rail share in bulk cement can be improved. The second is the declining trend of rail share in cement transportation. It was almost 36% in 2022-23, which has this year come down to 32%. And during the presentation, we also will try to see that how industry responds to these issues. The way forward. Now, what is the way forward? The session is not just about identifying problems. It is about shaping solutions. It is about envisioning a future where railways and cement sectors grows together, more agile, more integrated, and more sustainable. Whether it is through digitalization, it is through policy dialogues, or joint infrastructure investment, we have tools to make it happen. What is needed now is synergy between all the stakeholders and the railways. So with this context, I will invite now our panelists for their presentations. Let us share ideas, highlight innovations, and most importantly, find ways to strengthen this critical partnership between rail and cement. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for clearly dictating the way forward for this session. I would now like to invite Shri Rajiv Mehta, Senior President, Ultratech. Shri Mehta has over 35 years of experience in the industry. He's a CA by profession with intensive experience in supply chain, mergers, and decarbonization. Shri Mehta will be speaking on the topic Future Trends and Innovations in Cement Logistics. I now welcome Shri Rajiv Mehta. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome him with a round of applause.
So, very good morning, and Many thanks to CTRAM for inviting me. In fact, my association with CTRAM goes back to last 20 years. And of course, all along last 30 years of my career, my salary was paid by my company, but I worked more for Indian Railways. So I think before they are coordinating on the presentation part, the typical cement capacity as we talk is around, as Ojha Saab has clearly mentioned, is 600 million. Utilization is close to 70-75%, so 420, 430 is the number which country is producing. So before going into cement industry details, I would like to touch base on 2-3 compliments. March was 1 month which saw the highest movement of cement in the country in last so many years, and not a single call to railway board that there is a wagon crisis at any of the place. So my compliments to Indian Railways that facilitating such a great movement, I tell you. So that's why I told Ojha Saab कि आपने हमें बुलाना ही बंद कर दिया अभी बिल्कुल. So I think कुछ भी नहीं. Anyway, चलो कोई नहीं, no problem, I'll handle it without presentation, I can manage. So if I look at the capacity, 17% is the bulk cement consumption, and that is growing every year. If I look back, let's take an example of Mumbai as a city. In 2001, bulk cement consumption was 2% of the total cement consumption of that city. As we talk in 25, it is 50%. Same applies to Delhi, same applies to Pune, Hyderabad, name the city, and the pattern is more or less similar. It is ranging from 30 to 50%. May go up to 60 because vertical construction and infrastructure is growing in every metro. The second interesting thing which is happening in this industry is the lead. In 2001, the lead of cement industry used to be 580 kilometers, and today as we talk it is 400. So 180 kilometer reduction, and the industry is changing. Earlier there used to be one plant, one integrated unit. Now, one integrated unit and 10 grinding units associated with that, and maybe a few bulk terminals. With this change, the average lead of the industry is declining every year at the rate of 8 to 10 kilometers per year. And the interesting thing is that railway needs to be very watchful of this development, which is getting, in fact, somehow that presentation was lost. The rail coefficient of bagged cement has come down to 24-25%, and clinker is at 80%. So clinker movement is increasing because of the grinding units. But again, a note of caution. The growth which we are seeing in clinker may also come down in future because of the blended cement. So a new opportunity will come in terms of fly ash and slag. That will be a big opportunity for railways. I can clearly see that at the way the addition is, there will be almost 100 million metric ton movement of fly ash and another 70 to 80 million metric ton movement of slag in the country. And there cannot be a better choice than Indian Railways. That will be the best choice. So, one threat, one opportunity. Both are going hand in hand, that bagged cement will keep on declining, bulk will keep on growing, clinker will be stable or may decline, but fly ash and slag will emerge as another big opportunity for Indian Railways. Another problem which we have to be very watchful, I think Swaroop Saab mentioned in the morning on the EV part of it, LNG, CNG and EV, and the coincidence is we are using all the three, almost the number is up to 700 vehicles we are using. I think I'm not worried about what we are doing today, but what India should be worried of, our ambitions are too less. Even as per Niti Aayog, I think we are aiming for 10,000 vehicles by 2030. But to my surprise, in China, they are adding 180,000 EVs, EV trucks. I'm talking of heavy duty vehicles. They are adding every year. So what is happening there in 25 will for sure happen in India maybe by 30 or 32 or 33. So instead of 10,000 ambition, our ambition will go multifold, maybe a few lakh vehicles. Another interesting trend I saw very recently in China is that the first trial they have completed is 680 kilometer in one charge. If that happens, see today railway needs to look at one thing, that beyond 400 kilometer railway is unbeatable today in terms of the freight economics. That is a clear market for Indian Railways. But what is strength today may not last beyond 2030 or 2032. So the first answer is, let's go for 10-year contracts with the customers. LTTC should be reintroduced by the railways. That is the only solution to protect the traffic. So even rather than 3 years and 4 years, if I am on the other side, believe me, my efforts will be to go for 10-year contract with the customers. So that LTTC should be introduced by the railways. That is the best way of protecting at least 50-60% of the traffic, what is happening today. Then I think we have spoken on this thing. One more thing which we have to be very, very watchful, that conventional cost of vehicles is 48 to 50 lakhs, diesel vehicles. And one electric vehicle of similar capacity is costing us 1 crore, just double, even in cases 1 crore 10 lakhs also. The problem is the transporters. First of all, conventional transportation system has completely collapsed as far as EVs are concerned. A normal transporter will not buy an EV because there is no resale market. If you want to sell an EV after 1 year, you may not get even 50% of the price. Whereas in conventional vehicle, you can still get 70 or 80% even after 1 year. So this EV industry is moving towards more organized people who are buying 100 vehicles funded by venture capitalists and all those things. The condition which is asked is 8-year contract. So if railway do not act today, anyone who is moving in road, they will lose that customer for next 8 years. So I think we have to be very, very watchful that why LTTC is important. I think this EV sector will throw a very big challenge for the railways. Now, if I look at the opportunity part of it, the bulk cement consumption today in India is approximately 70 million metric ton, of which rail share is roughly 10%, 7 million tons. And in next 5 years, this bulk movement will be close to 150. I clearly see an opportunity of 50% movement by rail, which is 75 million tons. And 75 means that present 7 to 75, 70 million addition in next 5 years can come through cement, through bulk transportation, provided few policy changes which we have requested many times, but they have to happen with speed. I think one request to railways will be that policy changes will have to happen at a much faster speed and with active engagement of customers. That will help. Only, see, our inputs will enable railways to at least know that what is going on in the industry. Then few more things which are happening are siding part of it. Oh, I think it has come. Good. I think let's go back, opportunities. Oh, I thought it's not, yeah. So if I take this opportunity part, what is going to happen? That if 70 million is added and 1 million will give a freight of almost 50 crores. So 3,500 crore revenue can be added every year by railways only by having some proactive policies on bulk cement. And another beauty of bulk movement, when we purchase a special purpose wagon, the life of wagon is 40 years. So if railway goes for these policies, we are talking from 2025 to 2065. So for next 40 years, you are protecting your market. So this becomes a very, very important thing. LTTC, we have spoken. Then incentives on greenfield sidings. The typical cost of constructing a railway siding today is 250 crores. Normal siding cost, leaving aside lot many internal things. Our request is that from takeoff point up to our siding, when we are handing it to railways under Gati Shakti as a common user facility, that rebate should be given over a period of 10 years at the rate of 10%. Presently, this is being differently interpreted at different railway divisions. So I think there is a lot of clarity is required with respect to greenfield investment under Gati Shakti. So as we said, SPWs will be lasting for 40 years, and when we invest in a terminal of 300-400 crores, at least we are assuring you a committed traffic for next 40 years. So that will be a very big shift. Cement lead has come down to less than 400 kilometer, and the way things are declining, I am sure that cement lead will be 350 or 300 in next 2 years' time. What is the problem of railway not being competitive in 300 kilometers? There is nothing wrong with the railway freights. Railway freights are absolutely right, but handling at Goodshed and secondary is equal to 100% of the freight. At 300 kilometer, rail freight is close to 600 rupees. The handling at Goodshed is ranging from 150 to 400 rupees. In cities like Bombay, the handling charges are as high as 400 rupees per metric ton. Secondary transportation is 300. So rail freight is 600, handling and secondary is 700. Railway is not competitive not because of freight but because of handling and secondary. So the lasting solution is bulk terminals. Handling will become zero, secondary will be 50%, and railway will emerge as the sole competitor as far as less than 300 kilometer lead is concerned. So some quick action is needed to make railway competitive in less than 300 kilometer. Private sidings, we have already spoken. There are 2-3 things which I would like to bring on record. And A, siding cost is high. Railway needs to relook at it, that how we can address this in Gati Shakti, because Gati Shakti has not been able to address those concerns. The third thing which is there, we are very aggressive when we talk at the railway board, but at the division and zonal railways, I think they are genuinely not interested in traffic. Reason being that it takes years to get things cleared. A DPR will typically take 1 year. There will be first objection coming from electrical, second after 2 months will come from S&T, third from mechanical after 5 months, and you keep on circling and it takes 1 year or 1.5 years. Why can't all the departments of railways can sit together and give in 7 days that these are the problems? Why they have to individually look at all these things? Believe me, I am counting days in my office. One proposal for just 2 crossovers, 217th day is there today. And the chances are I may get clearance after 100 follow-ups. One project last 2 years, it is hanging on for one or the other reason, and railway has lost almost 2 million tons of traffic because of that. Where is that accountability? So delays in DPR clearances, and we have to recognize the fact, I think we have missed one very big point in Gati Shakti. We have made it mandatory that all new terminals will be in Gati Shakti. But we also have to look back how many existing terminals have opted for Gati Shakti in last 3 years. I think that percentage is not more than 10%. So that indicates that Gati Shakti should be reviewed, why existing customers are not opting for the Gati Shakti policy. That becomes a very big debate. We can be happy with that we are adding 100 or 200, because now there is no choice for new customer. So this number will keep on increasing. But why existing customers are not opting for Gati Shakti, then there must be some areas of concern of the customers which a railway need to introspect. Cost of reducing siding cost, I think we need to talk jointly that yeah. Schedule 2, another interesting thing, that this talks about partial railway land and partial private land. Schedule 1, there is no issue because it is all on the private land. We are creating terminal, there is no problem. But Schedule 2 of Gati Shakti has got a major problem. It's a one, there are issues related to TACs, terminal access charges and terminal charges. And TAC was 160 rupees, it was 1,60,000 per rake. I calculated that if I create a 1 million terminal, I will be bringing 80,000, which is equal to 20 rakes in a month. And if I pay 1,60,000, it will be 32 lakhs per month. Besides land licensing fee which I am paying, I will be paying TAC of 32 lakhs per month. I think the whole economics of a bulk terminal will go for a toss if Schedule 2 is not addressed quickly. And believe me, how much losses railway have incurred, this issue is pending for last 1 year. It is going to and fro. We are raising the issue. See, the opportunity cost of losing traffic is much more than taking a policy decision. And I think today I am finding that we are losing traffic because of delayed decisions. So again, Schedule 2, railway has got plenty of land. Under PPP, we can create wonders, actually. See, I gave a cost of 350 crore is the cost of putting a cement terminal. 50 to 60 crore goes in land, 60 crore in rail infrastructure. 33% cost can be recovered if we utilize this land properly. I think the terminal cost can be brought down. So this is one area which we request that a quick action is needed. Time-bound redressal, as I said, that I think this DPR approval, the process has to be completely reviewed. There is a big problem as far as consultants are concerned because we are bound by certain consultants, and I'm sorry to say that in many cases, their assessment was 400 crore modification, and after 7 or 8 rounds, we have been able to bring that down to 100 crores. This is the problem. So I think somewhere we need to have a close look at that how to bring down that cost. Engaging customers before issuance of policies, yes, that is mandatory actually. If unilaterally policies are issued, then it is very difficult to reverse those policies. So prior discussion. Consistency in policies. LTTC, I tell you, that was one of the best policy which was introduced by railways. Why it was withdrawn, we do not know. There was another interesting policy which I think railways should refer again, that was TDS, which was introduced in 2008. Why it was withdrawn, no one knows. That was a wonderful policy. I think somewhere that policy should also be taken into account. GPWIS, there are valid reasons for which the policy might have been put on hold or suspended. But the question is, these are important policies, and when you invest money, people have invested 20 racks, 30 racks, investments are 600 crore to 1,000 crores. So I think policies should be on a very long-term basis. Yeah, that I've already covered, that collective response from all Department of Railways rather than mechanical raising one objection after 2 months electrical or after 3 months S&T, that is unacceptable. Because by 1 year we lose interest also in the siding, that at times after 18 months I wrote to one railway division, I will be willing to withdraw my proposal. So if that happens, I think somewhere we have to act quickly. Another thing which is very, very important is investment in rail infrastructure, where to invest also. I'll give one example of Sholapur division. The traffic moves from Kurdwadi, Miraj, this sector. And Sholapur to Sangli, the road distance is 210 kilometer and rail distance is 280 kilometer. Because there is a route via Kurdwadi and all that, if some correction is made and some by-lanes are made, or if this route can be reduced by 60-70 kilometer lead can be reduced of rail traffic. So if we have to invest money, we should invest in those areas which can bring us very quick return. So that is, these are certain areas where rail lead can be reduced. Another big problem is that RDSO has to be more engaged with the customer. We are talking about bulk terminal. As we talk, all designs of bulk movement have failed. BCFC, which is the present most actively used design, there are 3 modifications which have come from RDSO, and still we are not sure whether to place further orders or not. So I think we have to act very quickly on the future wagon designs. And I saw the difference. I visited some European countries a couple of months back. The quality of wagons and the life, even after 25 years, they were looking as good as new with respect to their paint standards, metal standards. The other thing is we introduce policy, but we need to review them also, like CC plus 4 or CC plus 6. Is that policy causing problems in BCFC and BCCW? Because metal fatigue is increasing, there are regular birthdays and all those things. So we need to look at it, that what is causing problem in these wagons. As we talk, almost 100 wagons are under repair at Dawn and Badnera Goodsheds. So my request is that I think with RDSO engagement should be there, that what quality of design we need, and it should be a top quality design. Bas, last minute. I'll need only 2 minutes. Go, yeah, next, please. So this is the conclusion of my presentation, that if we take a wake-up call in 28, rest assured the traffic will go to single digit. So it's high time we take a quick call, and by December 25, all the policies should be in place for 2030 and 35. See, industry will run, but a quick call is needed, that next 6 months we should get all the redressal of the policies. So thanks a lot, and my apologies for being too correct and not politically correct.
Any questions, please, from audience side?
Audience, Mr. Mehta is a very known voice in the cement industry. I believe this is a perfect platform to ask him questions. All our senior DOMs working in the cement sector, so I request and I would encourage rather people to ask questions. Sir, actually, हमने हर session के बाद ही रखा है. So we have given 10 minutes to.
Mehta sir. Mehta sir. It was a quite enlightening this thing, gems of knowledge given by you. I just wanted to know, since you said that the bulk cement will be the future of the cement industry.
Yes.
So from the transportation point of view, from the costing and the convenience point of view, what would you prefer, BCWC wagons or tank containers?
There is nothing called, if you look at the difference between tank containers and SPWs, the typical rake size of a tank container is 2,700 metric ton. If I take the new designs of 31 metric ton and 90 boxes per rake, it will be 27. In case of SPW, it will be 4,000. Second thing, as of now, there is no policy on tank containers. In case of SPW, there is a discount and overall handling is 4,000 metric ton at a time. It depends. It will be an absolutely commercial decision that wherever economical we will go for tank containers, wherever economical we will go for special purpose wagons. They are not competing with each other, they will be complementing each other in future.
Okay, if there are no more questions, I think we'll proceed towards our second presentation of the session. I would now invite Shri Santosh Sinha, MD CWC, for delivering his presentation on the role of warehousing in efficient cement logistics. Shri Sinha has over 35 years of experience in the industry and has worked in different fields of management in Indian Railways and Concor. Ladies and gentlemen, please have a big round of applause for Mr. Santosh Sinha as we welcome him.
Thank you, CTRAM, for giving me this opportunity. I represent Central Warehousing Corporation, which happens to be the grand old go-down of the country. We built warehouses when there were none in the country. We started off with the food grain warehouses. And while the name may not display the actual scope of our work, but cement happens to be the mainstay of our operations, apart from food grains, because we happen also to be a big participant in the NFSA, the National Food Security Act. So a large portion of our warehouses are occupied by food grains, but outside this, cement is the biggest product that we are handling. First thing first, we have realized, and we're also taking action like that. We find that warehousing standalone cannot be discussed in any product. Today, the word is logistics, and unless and until transportation, warehousing, and again transportation are bundled together, that cannot happen. I agree with Mr. Mehta that the way forward is bulk cement. And towards that, the best model of bulk cement handling that I can see today is at two places, perhaps there may be more, where railway operations and bulk cement handling, both of them complement each other. One is at a plant at Kalamboli in Mumbai, where we are partnering with KCP Cement. And the second, by drawing upon my experience in Concor, the fantastic project which was taken up at Irugur near Coimbatore. And Railway Board's policies have also helped. Definitely Irugur has been helped, and we also find that KCP Cement is doing a fantastic job there. Given the fact that bulk cement constitutes such a huge portion of cement consumption in Mumbai area, as Mr. Mehta said, there is demand in Kalamboli area to replicate the same kind of model, and we are seeking to replicate that. And this model, it is a very unique model, just like the one at Concord, that you also, the concessionaire, he actually builds the warehouse to their own standards. We give them the land, and we deal with them on a per rake basis. So it's a good product. Going ahead on that, we have decided, we have floated a tender, because being a railwayman, and since logistics comprise both transportation and warehousing together, we have wanted to replicate this model at 9 other locations in the country, and we floated a tender, and I invite all cement manufacturers who are present here to have a look at that tender. It's a very good tender, which gives opportunities at prime locations for cement aggregation, for cement distribution. The rail coefficient being low, one of the major roles which is being played by CWC's Railside Warehousing Corporation is worth noting. We have right now 22 railside warehouse corporations, warehouse complexes in the country, spanning across the country, and 90% of the dealing over there is in cement, and is patronized by most of the cement manufacturers in the country, and it is being used as a good interface between the company and the retail distribution. Some of the railside warehouses, they are at places like Alamnagar, Nishatpura, and Ghaziabad, and in fact all of them are doing pretty well. Nishatpura being doing about 20 to 25 rakes a month, and Ghaziabad also about 10 rakes a month, and Alamnagar also about 20-25 rakes a month. So warehousing has to complement the logistics, and we find that it's a very good model which is working. And the way which railways and CWC have gone together in developing this railside warehousing, while that may leave some scope for improvement, but yes, the model has proved itself over the last 20 years, and it is something that we are looking forward to. And because of this, the warehouses that we have constructed in association with Konkan Railway at Indapur, at Udupi and Thokur. Indapur has just been commissioned, but Udupi, Thokur are seeing good traction. So in the retail business, as we go ahead, apart from the bulk, these railside warehouses or other cement warehouses will definitely play a big role in advancing cement consumption, in making cement available to the retail sector, or even to the big customers as the cement companies want. And the new bulk cement handling facilities that we are wanting to create at 8 locations in the country, 8 or 9 locations in the country, will, I am sure, because they are all these sidings are rail fed. We don't have to invest anything in rail operations of those sidings. So all these sidings are going to be another example of how possibly Kalburgi cement or Irugur terminal at Concord is working, and will definitely go ahead in increasing the bulk coefficient. Apart from this, there are also, since we are concentrating on the cement sector, apart from this, there are also places, our own warehouses, where cement is being stored by road. It comes by road and is distributed by road. And these locations are again at prime locations. But we would rather discourage that cement sector, because we would be wanting to bring them on rail as much as possible. And rail coefficient will not only increase the volume of cement handled by us, but also would go a long way in reducing the logistics cost of cement. Slightly diverting from my point, one thing, while we have got active cooperation from railways in all these developments, one issue which has been rankling over our minds, and I would just like to amplify what Mr. Mehta said, is definitely the threat of road sector. While in Concor, I had done a study of LNG movement. Mr. Mehta was talking about EV movement, and we found that in less than 200 kilometer range, definitely LNG trucks were cheaper, faster and efficient for movement of goods. They were not cement, but we can always use them for cement. And over 200 kilometers, the differentiator was not the freight. Railways definitely benefits from the telescopic rates. But over 200 kilometers, the differentiator was the toll. And the toll was actually killing road traffic over a long distance. But we need to wake up and take the threat from the expressways which are being built at a fast pace, and the rationalization of toll that is happening. The 30,000 fee which has been proposed for the road sector for usage of unlimited usage of toll is going to actually act as a game changer, and it will also definitely add to some pressure on the railway sector. So railways, I would request, I know many of my colleagues in railways, they are quite dynamic, they are quite open to discussions on this thing, and they are aware of these developments. So we need to tweak our pricing in the railways in a manner that if we want to wake up to this threat, because with LNG prices crashing, especially with the impending Ukraine war coming down, this may be a threat. So we have to balance railway pricing in a manner that we are able to meet the LNG trucks. And the automobile production is at an all-time high in the country. Be it EV trucks are picking up, LNG trucks are being added every month in a phenomenal rate, and to the extent that we can now get LNG trucks on lease. We don't even need to put capex onto that. Just like you lease diesel trucks, you may be able to lease LNG trucks very soon. So before I end, I would just like to point this out to my friends in the railways, that let's work in a manner that this threat is thwarted off. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for bringing new perspectives to our understanding of the warehousing requirements for the cement logistics sector. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to invite Shri Praveen Garg, CLO Adani Cement, for his presentation on the topic Sustainable Cement Logistics Strategies for Reducing the Carbon Footprint. Shri Praveen Garg, he is currently the CLO Adani Cement. He is an IIT and IIM alumni. He holds over 25 years of experience in the cement industry. Ladies and gentlemen, please have a big round of applause for Shri Praveen Garg.
Good afternoon, dignitaries. I have one punchline on my slide is, we need 2A and 2B to kill 1C. I'll come to the end to this punchline. Okay. As Mehta sir was speaking and Sinha sir was speaking, I'll cover the first B here itself, the first part. That's about the bulk cement. Truly speaking, I was heading the previous company, Kalburgi Cement and Bharti Cement, when we made the terminal at CWC Kalamboli and at Concor sir at Irgur. Both different concept. One is with BCFC, BCCW rake at CWC Kalamboli, and one with tank container. Okay. So when when we were making this, I mean, when I was making this plan on the paper, though this terminal, such BCCW and BCFC terminal was existing with ACC and Ultratech that time, for sure. But it was about making a terminal on, it's a third-party land, not on the own land, which was there with ACC and Ultratech, but it was about on a separate railway siding. So that's how the CW, and we searched various railway siding, and then we went to CWC, that can we make such terminal? CWC also reviewed the proposal. That time they said, Praveen, can you make a silo underground so that we can make a warehouse at the top? So can happen for sure in future. Good idea, but that time, okay, we said, not the technology available now, for sure. And then when we put it on a paper, after a lot of discussion, it happened that let's make a silo and all. And it came so beautifully that today that terminal is doing 1.5 lakh ton a month. And number of people in that terminal, can you imagine? It's just 8 people. 8 people, including everyone, is managing the whole terminal, 1.5 lakh ton a month. So that's kind of, with the BCT bulk terminal, this kind of volume we can handle with this automation. And what CO2? I mean, there is no CO2. So that's how we have to build future. Similarly, what we did with tank containers. So that time when we sat with Concor, we had several discussions how to go ahead with the kind of, we make a BCT with the tank container model. I remember that time when we were importing tank container from China. That time we imported tank container from China. We had an issue in India that these tank container, as per the specification, it said that it has to be ISO tank containers. And in order to have ISO tank container, it has to pass a dynamic impact test. So we approached RDSO Railway Board. Do we need this dynamic impact test for carrying bulk cement in tank container by rail within India? It was required for sea movement and all, for fluid and all, but cement powder in a tank container by rail, this was not required. And we approached and we thanked to Railway Board that immediately that clause was removed, that dynamic impact test. And today these tank containers can be manufactured in India, and there are people now manufacturing the tank container in India. So that's how the things are evolving, and that's where the action on 1B. Okay. Okay, I'll change the slide, sorry. It's not working. Can you please operate it from there? Yeah. So I come to the topic straight. That's the mode CO2 consumption, if you look at. Generally by road, 40 gram, is a carbon which is emitted per ton per kilometer of the movement by road. As compared, rail is just 9 gram and sea is 7 gram. So that's the kind of CO2 emission by the mode. And if you look at in a cement sector, CO2 emission, scope 1 is about production, what we produce the cement. Maximum carbon emission is in the production level, which is 600 kg per ton of the cement. That's why, because 1.5 ton of limestone makes 1 ton of clinker. That's where the major emission of CO2. It's not the production process, but it's the losses during the production. Scope 2 is about electricity, the power that we consume to make the cement. It's not much, it's 30 kg. The next is scope 3, for which we are here today, which is about transportation. So major, that's again 120. And there's a lot of scope in this where we can reduce this scope 3 in cement. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah. When we generally discuss outbound about cement or clinker. But we have to count each and every movement of the material when we are talking of cement. So it's cement, yes, for sure, then clinker, and then there are various inward raw material, including fly ash, including bauxite, including coal. So today, if you look at just to make 1 ton of cement, truly speaking, we are moving 2.8 ton of various material, including cement, clinker, and all. So when we are talking of rails here or seas here, truly speaking, we have to count everything. then only we can holistically look at in terms of how to improve rail share, how to decrease the CO2 emission and all. Next slide, please. During the session, respected MOD was saying about the rail share in the cement, decreasing rail share. We have several numbers about the rail share. I'm counting the rail share based on TKM. And TKM for all the movement, not only cement or clinker. I'm counting all raw material and everything. So if you look at in terms of volume share, we are at a level of 82% in road. Here, just one thing, sir. Here, I'm also counting the secondary movement from warehouse, because at the end of the day, cement we have to deliver from plant to the customer. So I'm counting all these kilometer movement by various mode. And if I look at the TKMs here and versus volume share, the volume share, road is 82%, rail is 17, and sea is 1 in cement sector, I'm saying, including all, including the raw material, cement outbound and clinker. Whereas if you look at TKMs here, it's at a level of rail is 53%, still leading. So we have a reason to celebrate. It's not that, because rail is moving at a higher distance. So that's why, but there is a challenge, there is a risk also. This share is going down, month on month, year on year. The TKMs here. Road is just 44% and rail C is 4%. But what about the CO2 emission? If you look at road, it is 78%. So 44% is the TKMs here, but the CO2 share is 78%. Because road is 4-5 times emits more CO2 as compared to rail, whereas rail is 21%. So that's where we have to work, how to increase the rail share or sea share in the cement transportation, which is complete inbound, outbound, everything. We go to the next slide. Yeah. I'll touch the sea mode first, because that's where the lowest CO2 emission is there. We have a big coastal line, east and west, where we can develop several bulks, BCTs or grinding unit to make the cement. And at Adani, we have made several BCT and port-based grinding unit. But we need special vessels in order to move bulk cement. Clinker, yes, we can move with standard vessels which is available across the world. But for cement, we need specialized vessels to move the cement. We have also experimented with one of the small vessel at Mumbai, just carrying 4,000 ton of bulk cement and unload the cement directly from the vessel to the bulker by using a ship unloader. This is a small arm, this is a screw conveyor, and we can load the bulkers there. But C mode has to increase drastically in cement from a level of just 1%. We have to target month on month or year on year increase. Next, please. About cement in rail. A lot of things has been said by Mehta sir and Sinha sir. I'll touch few points. Again, BCT, bulk cement terminal, yes, required. Truly speaking, it is required at every 150 kilometer. Every 150 kilometer, we should have mushroom of BCTs. Then only we can have this, the automation that we are discussing, and the kind of rail share which we want to have in terms of volume. Today, for sure, rail is leading in TKM, but we need to reach TKM at 80% or 90% by rail by these mushrooming BCTs. I also have one picture here. This is from again, my previous company, Vika. It's a VGA in Switzerland. We are directly that company directly unloading the cement from these rail tank containers to bulkers. And we can develop these bulkers in India easily, which have a dust collection system at the back, and we can directly pump it from the tank container or from the rail, the wagons which carry the bulk cement to the bulkers, and we deliver the cement to the end customer, rather than making silos also at the sidings. But for that, we need, a support from railway side. Instead of 60 wagons at a time, because we need then 15 wagons, 20 wagons, because we cannot stand 60 wagons at a siding. We have to serve customer based on daily demand, which is fluctuating. So it may happen in a day that we may move 400 or 500 ton, but if the wagons is for 4,000 ton, we cannot have this kind of model. So if you look at the countries which is operating with this kind of model, their 10 wagons, 15 wagons, 20 wagons are running, carrying this bulk cement from a plant to various terminals. And from there, it is directly bulkers are loaded and moving to the customers. So yes, I mean, we need to work on wagon designs, both industry and RDSO we need to work. So industry is ready to work on these kind of, bulkers and all so that we can move directly from wagon to the bulkers. Coming about bag cement, we still have BCN running. I don't know, BCN is running for last maybe 50 years or 60 years, whatever. Maybe more than that. There is no replacement of BCN till now. We have to replace it. Otherwise, it's manual process. Loading is semi-manual, unloading is purely manual. So as said by Mata sir, the handling charges, how to decrease it? I mean, unless we automate it. And to automate, we had to get away with this BCN wagon. We cannot automate with BCN wagon. We need a wagon either with the open size so that we can load the pallets. But yes, both has to work. Not only railway, but industry also has to work together to find the solution to it. For me, I mean, we both failed, industry and railway both failed to find the solution of bag transportation by rail in an automated way, to have automation at both loading and unloading. Industry could find the semi-automated process of loading, but that's again very tedious, and unloading, we have no solution now. So we have to come up with that solution so that the bag share in cement has to increase. We have, for sure, we have BCFC and all that we are working upon, as I said, said by the previous dignitaries also. And if we work together, both cement and clinker, our rail share can go up. With regard to fly ash, I'll touch upon. Fly ash today, the rail movement is almost nil. Railway has introduced the policy of 40% discount on box and rakes on a return direction, giving good advantage. But again, this is not sustainable, this movement, because the box and rake carrying fly ash, the bulk powder, while handling, it creates a huge dust, huge dust. Environmentally, it's not possible, it's not sustainable. So the sustainable is BCFC rake or tank containers or whatever. These are the rake, where we need a dynamic policy so that the fly ash movement, because fly ash is moving for a higher distance. Because power plants, they are centered near the coal mines only. So now, as Raju sir was also saying, we have to work upon fly ash, because fly ash is moving at a higher distance. At Adani Cement, this year our plan is to move 15 million ton of fly ash. And out of this 15 million, we can hardly move 1 million. Though we have ordered 26 fly ash BCFC rakes, we are ordering another 30 BCFC rakes. But still, with these number of rakes, we can hardly move our 20% of the fly ash by rail. So we need to have complete network of, or we have to think that the design thinking has to happen, that how the rail share in fly ash, I mean, we have to think exponentially, not incremental increase. Maybe 70 or 80% movement by rail. Because fly ash bulker on road is a big nuisance, safety also and CO2 emission also. So that was about rail and sea. Coming to road, in order to reduce CO2, the whole industry know that we have to work on EV trucks. So today the presence of EV trucks is absolutely negligible. A lot of challenges are there, for sure. We are working upon the cement industry. Each industry has introduced the truck. Today the share of cement industry for electric truck is just 6% as compared to other they are. Because we are moving little bit higher distance as compared to others. So our distance to travel is more from cement plant. One big thing with the cement industry is our 70 to 80% dispatch is direct to the consumption end. Whereas if you look at any other industry, from their factory, they are dispatching to a stock point. But from our cement plant, our typical issue is we dispatch directly to the consumption end. which is to the site, construction sites, or a retailer shop, which is not the case with the other industry. So for them, it is easier to plan with EVs and all. Whereas for us, you know, in order to introduce EV, where in our 70 to 80 is directly to the customer, it's more tough. So we need to plan aggregation center where the EV truck has to go, and then from there, the smaller trucks we can load, which is can go to the customer end. So those kind of things we are doing, and you will see that by 2030, cement will have the lion's share in terms of EV trucks also. So that's the projection. So that's my last slide. I said that the punchline, you know, we need 2A and 2B to kill 1C. So 1C is about CO2, and 2A is its automation, discussed already a lot. So without automation, we cannot think of increasing the rail share. Automation has to happen to increase the rail share or sea share. The second is AI. I just used one more A before that, which is agentic AI. With only AI, we cannot solve the problem. Okay. So I see a railway as the best example to use agentic AI in terms of such a huge complex network, so many number of rakes running, so many loading points and loading points. I mean, if we use AI, the route optimization can be best way done. So which rake to go, when, to where, because we have the machine learning and all. The past data is there, the future requirement is there, and it can well married with agentic AI. We have started using AI in cement industry in terms of our complex. As I said, we have 70,000 shipped to location to deliver cement, roughly Ultratech may be having more. We have 70,000 location where we deliver cement daily. And we have 47 cement plant and 1,200 warehouses. So if I have to, a person has to optimize the logistic, he will fail. So we use a lot of optimizer, we use AI in terms of, you know, which source to give cement to which location, when, by which mode. That's how we have started using AI. So AI has to come, otherwise we have to move less with the best mode. So that's where AI has to play the role. So that's why we need 2 AI in order to have the lowest CO2 emission. 2B is the best mode for sure, and the bulk in first mile. So we are discussing bulk fly ash, bulk cement, and we have to move first mile bulk by rail in order to kill that 1C, which is CO2. So that's all from my side. Thanks to all.
Now the floor is open for questions. Audience are requested to you have any questions?
May we have the mic, please? So we have. Okay.
First of all, thank you, CTRAM, for asking some of us, the fossils in the industry. For the last several decades, we have been privileged to get exposed to exercises like this. The more the things change, the more they remain the same. All the answers are available to the young people, what needs to be done. Mr. Rajesh Mehta, Mr. Praveen Garg, I think we'll request Mr. Mohan Kumar Mangalam and Mr. Gautam Adani to hold classes for us to teach something about cement logistics. Well, coming back to something, I'm standing here just to share with you because I know nothing about this sector. But 2 or 3 things we learned in the earlier session from Mr. Malhotra, from Mr. Vardhan, from others, how exactly the railway share has been coming down, what needs to be done, what are the strategies, what railways has done, and what they propose to do. Mr. Rajesh Mehta speaks that, for heaven's sake, move faster. Don't take years for decisions which take only a few days or few hours. Mr. Praveen Garg has told us how exactly you develop automation, how exactly you have to seize new challenges. Basically, you will pardon me when I refer to you on two things. A, Mr. Rajesh Mehta says that things move from one desk to another. We take years to do planning, whether it's wagon design, whether it's terminal, whether it's private sidings, etc., etc. Pardon me just to mention to you that when Mahesh and myself we came here, first time I entered Rail Bhavan in 1965. Planning was done. There was a full-fledged planning department led by one director, Mr. M.N. Berry, one joint director, and two deputy directors. That was the total planning body at the apex level in railways. And I think, you'll pardon me, the railways, what planning was done during mid-1960s, that was path-breaking. That sustained Indian Railways for the next 2 or 3 decades. I asked my old friend, Mr. Sushant Mishra, who is now part of Gotham Logistics Kingdom, how many people are there who are doing planning in Rail Bhavan? He couldn't give me the answer. He gave me the directory of Railway Board to look at it. I was amazed. But then I glanced through it. I saw how many people are doing planning in railways. And then I started counting. Innocently, I found there were 18 executive director and above people in railways doing planning. Dr. Badri Narayan seems to be sitting here. I want to ask him, how exactly can you do planning in silos? How can you find answer, viable answer for what Mr. Rajiv Mehta has raised? Planning has to be integrated. Planning cannot be done individually by different departments who will toss over files from one or the other. Naturally, it will take years. So why am I raising? Because you are young people, you have stakes in railways. You have to have some anger in your eyes, fire in the belly, to ask yourself, where exactly are we going? You can plan for promotional prospects, proliferating your cadres, but you cannot do planning for bringing down the logistics cost from 14% to 8% or whatever it is. I don't know Dr. Ahirwar is here or not. He told me first time when I met him that he happens to be a doctor doing planning. He went to an old ministry where I had privilege to work for about 7 or 8 years. He had a say. People listened to him, and he told me it's possible to bring down the logistics cost. And Prime Minister of this country laid down, when he unveiled the logistics policy, on 2 factors. A, to bring down the logistics cost, you have to increase the railway share, essentially for freight. Mr. Malhotra told us that from 89% in early 50s come down to 30% low. Please look at the latest Niti Aayog report. Railway share freight, national freight market is less than 20%. How many of our railway policymakers have read their own national rail plan for want of anything better. Mahesh and myself, we keep reading some of these things because we are useless, we are cut off from the mainstream. How many of the people who are working in railways have had a look with certain amount of diligence and sincerity at their own national plan, which was unveiled in 2018? Yes, it talked of increasing the railway share. You'll pardon me, I'm just digressing. And they said Indian Railways will increase the railway share in freight market from the then about 30 to 33% to first 40%, 45% by 2030, and ultimately by 2045 to 50%. You are constantly receding. You are constantly, every year you are losing. When you move from 1170 to 1250, Indian Railways has done record leading. Even if you incrementally increase by 1, it is going to be a record. But that's, where is Mission 3000? Every year we are losing. So I'm nobody finding fault. I'm only saying that you young people who have stake in the system have to ask yourself, where are we going? If the industry is asking for something, you tell it, why should there be so much cost and so much time in building private siding? Why should there be private sidings? Why should we exchange yards as we used to do in steel plants and ports, etc., etc.? You multiplied, you increased your own empire of different departments. You exercised your monopoly power, and in the bargain, you killed the goose which laid golden eggs. Today is the same thing happened. Cement sector, if they are saying the future is bulk, National Rail Plan, I seem to have read through it a few years ago. It itself says that railways share in bulk movement of cement is minuscule in comparison with their peers in elsewhere developed countries. The cost of moving cement is far, far more than what happens in Australia and elsewhere. Mahesh is asking me to step down, I will. But NRP itself says two things. If you increase the rail share in freight market, two things are essential. One, your freight rate must come down by 30%. And volatility, that means speed of goods trains, must increase twice the level from 25 kilometers per hour to 50 kilometers per hour. You have your dedicated freight corridor, eastern sector completed. Western is going to be soon completed. But where are these targets? Every year we are receding. So I think what we need to is to have a clear mindset. Try to unlearn many things and learn a few things more. I think that is the only way we can talk about. And unless you reduce your size, you'll keep on increasing the time required for taking any decisions and passing on some good wisdom to rest of the logistics industry. Railways has to take a lead. You're always the leader in logistics side. It has lost. You're losing. New things are happening. Mr. Malhotra told us how exactly. Now, sum total is that we know what is required to be done. The only thing is certain amount of action, certain amount of sincerity, and basically changing the mindset that I have to learn. Humility is the first postulate of wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for giving us a few more pointers to talk about. I believe we'll have enough time to discuss these pointers over lunch. I believe we have one more gentleman who has raised his hand there. Here.
Hi, I'm Rohan Shah. I wanted to understand a little more about the Kalambori plant, as to what was done uniquely. Both of you spoke about the terminal over there. So what was done there exactly?
See, I'll use the mic. Hello. Yeah. At Kalamboli, when this terminal was built, the objective was, the Mumbai is mostly the Mathadi labor there, you might know, and the biggest issue is Mathadi there. So when we were building the terminal, we said, we have to get rid of all kind of manual activity at all. No manual activity. So that's how the whole design happened. With a very small space there, just one side the bulkers and trucks can go, and the one side it can come out. If you go to that area, you can see there. Okay. And the constraint was space, the constraint was labor. So both the constraint helped us to find a solution of, fully automated setup. And when we built this setup, including the silo, the packers, and the road, the movement design, it happened because we wanted not to have any person for the whole logistic process also. So each and every truck and bulker which enters, get loaded, goes out, there is no person involved to allocate the order, to move the truck inside or truck or bulker, and to give the invoice or to tell them where to go or where not to go. So there is no person. Absolutely touchless, the whole logistic process. Only touch point is when these bulk rakes are coming, these bulk rakes, it has a gate below these rakes where it has a gravity and loading. And then you have a elevator, cement goes to a pit, and then from pit there is an elevator which goes to the silo, and then it goes to the bulker or back. So for that operation there is a two technical people to handle the whole operation. And the same technical person can operate the CCR also. So when this was designed, we said we will have a people with a multitasking. Okay. So no such, and even the administrative staff that we kept was too minimal, so that the whole terminal can be operated with just 7 to 8 people to do this 1.5 lakh ton. So the constraint made, actually with constraint we evolved the solution.
And the loading was also done through vacuum or something?
Loading is top loading, gravity. This has a top.
In the silo?
Yeah.
The silo loading?
Silo.
Because it goes down and then the loading would be...
No, if you see these wagons has a hole at the top. The BCFC rakes, it has a hole. You just need to put a bellow, we call it cement bellows. From bellow you can load these wagons.
Okay.
Yeah.
The proof of the pudding is in its eating. I would suggest, in fact, I would invite anybody to come and see that terminal.
Okay.
And Kalamboli is actually in two parts. One which the KCP is operating, the other which CWC, ourselves we are operating that. And the demand for bulk cement is so much that the other part which we are operating normal rakes and container rakes, we are now offering it to some other party. We've already made an agreement to develop a similar terminal again.
Okay.
So I would invite everybody here in the audience to have a look at it, and it's a good viable bulk terminal project. In fact, the Concord one is also very good.
Okay.
Which Mr. Garg again was fortunately involved with. That is also very good.
Okay.
It's also very completely automated.
Okay.
And if you have a good handling arrangement, it takes care of many inefficiencies in the wagon design, in many other areas of cement operation.
Right.
Another question.
I'll add one more point to your question. There is a terminal at Pune, which in times to come may become the largest terminal of the world. And the beauty of that terminal is, right now it's a 2 million terminal. There are hardly employees. You won't see, as Praveenji was pointing out. And the other point which I would like to highlight is the diversity part of it. Right from unit head to everywhere, 85% employees are females.
Okay.
So that is the proud which we are taking, that is the diversity we are looking at these terminals, that 85% and the unit head, she is handling the whole job so beautifully that it's worth seeing.
Right. So, I think with the female employment in India, in Indian terms, it's for diversity, for training, and even for long term, you are having a much better kind of output from female employment in general.
Yeah, because cement usually shop floor, we were not expecting that much participation. But with this terminal, it has also been proved. In many RMC plants, we are having 100% diversity now,
Okay.
not even 85%.
So
Thank
we have another question from the gentleman teacher. Can you just...
Good afternoon. My question is to Mr. Mehta. What do you see the scope of the rapid loading wagon manufacturers to synchronize with the wagon design for bringing the efficiency in loading? Because there has been quite interventions which has been made for Boxen and for BOBRN wagons. So what is the scope you find?
Honestly, I tell you, it's such an important question, and I find myself reasonably incompetent to answer this question. Reason being, everybody is playing a solo game. Railway is playing a solo game that they will have one meeting, like on this BCFC design, there was one meeting which happened 45 days earlier. And after 45 days, we do not know what has happened in last 45 days. It is a critical issue. RDSO works in complete isolation. They don't know what is the requirement of the customers and what needs to be done and what is happening globally. See, the one design which Praveenji was showing, or even what I have seen n number of designs, there are specifications right from paints to metal to everything. They are so precise about this thing that even after 25 years, without repainting, everything looks very clean and good. So then companies themselves, they also will have to become equal, they have to participate in the whole process. So the point you have raised is such a critical issue that all of us are talking about bulk. And the irony of the situation, there is no proper bulk cement carrier as of now. BCFC design in its present avatar has completely failed. And I think someone should have the guts to own that responsibility. I have not seen a single letter coming from RDSO that we own it. I'll take one more minute. When the first failure came of 20 boxes, we spoke to the wagon manufacturer that it's a manufacturing defect. 10 days later, another 20 boxes, which were manufactured by a different wagon manufacturer. And 15 days later, 20 more boxes coming from a third manufacturer. So if all manufacturing designs are failing from different manufacturers, then it cannot be a manufacturing defect. It essentially has to be a design defect. And what is wrong in it? We all are human beings. We can commit some error. At this point of time, RDSO should take the ownership that yes, something wrong was done by us and now we will correct it. This raises one more question. Unless someone owns it, who will pay for the repair of those wagons? We have invested 600-700 crores, 800 crores. We have no choice except to pay. But why should we pay? If the person has done a wrong designing, then I think railway should step in and say, okay, we own the responsibility and will pay for it. Why not? So someone somewhere should have to learn the art of owning the responsibility for the present and for the future both.
Can you please pass on the mic there?
I just add to one. Actually, what Mr. Mehta was saying is very correct. But I think very little publicity seems to have been given to the new wagon design policy which Railways has published, where you are allowed to have your own design, and there is a system of ISA, which is distinct from RDSO, who can inspect those wagons, and inspect the design, give you approval, and then you are whoever has designed the wagon, whoever has manufactured the wagon, he can determine his own maintenance periodicity, and he can determine how to run those wagons also. You all obviously have to meet the track loading parameters, but once this thing takes off, I think most of the issues which Mr. Mehta has said regarding wagon design, and since both Adani and Ultratech they are investing so much money into the rolling stock, I would suggest to have a look at those policies and see if they can be of any use to you.
Sir, my question is to Mehta, sir. Sir, you spoke about LTTC सर फ्रॉम हेयर सर अगर आप एल का रिबेट स्ट्रक्चर देखेंगे सर तो उसमें इन ऑर्डर टू गेट 10% ऑफ द डिस्काउंट यू हैव टू इंक्रीज मतलब लास्ट ईयर के कंपेरिजन में लोडिंग हैज टू इंक्रीज बाय 30% एंड 30% का करने के लिए आपको 90% आपका लास्ट ईयर के फीड से ज़्यादा आपको देना पड़ता है. अभी सर आपके पास STS है जिसके अंदर आपको मिनिमम देखें मोटा मोटा आप 30% जा सकते हैं और इंक्रीमेंटल लोडिंग जो आपका बेंचमार्क है 12 से 22% आपको मोटा मोटा मिल ही जाता है किसी भी पार्टी को STS, बट एक साल के बाद वो कहते हैं हम बेंचमार्क नहीं मिल पाया. सो व्हेन STS इज मोर प्रॉफिटेबल व्हाई यू डिमांडिंग LTTC एंड व्हाट इज द गारंटी कि जब LTTC वापस आ जाएगा देयर विल बी इंक्रीज इन लोडिंग.
Sir, I tell you, please don't misunderstand me. When I talk on any policy matter, it has to be a win-win situation for railways and customers.
Exactly.
We just cannot think to get discounts from railways. And my request is STS policy should never be introduced. I'm absolutely against it. It is a waste of railways money by giving discounts for 1 year and 2 years. They should think on long-term basis. Otherwise, it's a criminal waste of money giving discount for some marginal incremental traffic on year-to-year basis. I am not in favor of it.
Do you think that instead of giving a discount from 12 to ranging from 12 to 25%, we should rather restrict to 4 to 5% on an annual basis? जो 7-8 साल के अंदर आपका 30% के बराबर हो जाए, and will be nothing but an LTTC in another form.
You know, LTTC was introduced quite late. It was introduced in 16 or 17 or maybe 15, I can't remember exactly. The first long-term agreement with the railways was made in 2003. And I must name the person, I salute his conviction, Mr. Ghosh Dastidar. That was the first agreement, and I can remember when I went to him, everybody from the zone wrote that discount cannot be given beyond 1 year because rail budget is made year-over-year basis. So I told him, Maneka, I cannot dismantle my road fleet for 1 year. Minimum 3-year commitment has to be given by railways, otherwise I am not interested. And hats off, that agreement was done, and that was probably the first agreement. Why I am against 5%, 8%, that is a different issue. I am not chasing numbers. I am only worried about protecting the long-term share of railways, long-term freight stability for the companies where we are also sure that, okay, for next 7-8 years we can plan our logistics. And if railway is committed for 10 years, only then I will invest money in my sidings. If I invest 200 crores, 300 crores in upgrading my sidings, it costs money, minimum 100, 200 crores. The third thing is why we need upgradation in sidings, particularly the industry from where I come from. 80 to 1 million plant, 90 another brownfield, 2000 third brownfield, because brownfield will be made, limestone is there, the plant will be put there, but no upgradation in the railway yard. So part placement, taking 9 hours in loading, all these inefficiencies were built in the system. If LTTC is there, I'll see to it, put those conditions now, that you will, in LTTC, put efficiency condition, that you will load the rake within 4 hours. Better use of rolling stock. It's not discount we are chasing, we are talking about change of the whole ecosystem where how to improve the efficiencies, how to make our yards more efficient, but we need some commitment. If that is not there, the investment in sidings will not come.
We have one question from there.
Yes, good afternoon, dignitaries. So my question is from the sir who mentioned about the sustainable cement transport. So he mentioned 2B, 2A and 2B to 1C. So could you please highlight what are 2As and in which you mentioned automation and genetic AI.
Yeah.
So both from the plant side and also the railway side. And also from Mehta sir, that what are your quick expectations of the yard improvement from railways, please?
Yeah, I cover that 2A. You want details of 2A, which needs from a railway and industry side, right?
Yeah, something in detail of genetic AI you mentioned, so
Yeah.
I want some details on that.
Yeah, for sure. So the whole railway fraternity is there. So as I said, you know, we have railways running so many rakes in a day, in a month, okay? Various types of rakes. There are various loading points and unloading points. So this planning, operational planning I'm saying, you know, which rake to go where, which day, today, tomorrow, after a month, okay. This whole planning tool, the operation and planning tool can happen with AI. This is what I'm saying. That's about agentic AI. Because not only for rail I'm saying, for road also. Anything which is moving empty or anything which is delayed, even what Mehta sir was saying, you know, delayed approval also. Why not we can have AI for the approval process, for the DPR approval also? Okay. So this AI, if we augment with all kind of operation and planning, the things can move better and faster without wasting the resources. Either the empty being, you know, detained or empty movement of the rake or the DPR getting delayed, or whatever, any decision-making process. So why we need agentic AI? For a faster and a better decision. So that's AI which is required from both the end, from industry and from railway, in order to kill that 1C.
Yeah, so I'll tell you some quicks on yard improvement. One of the most neglected area, both by railways as well as by the companies. Nobody paid any attention. We have got one bulk terminal at Dodbalapur. And last 3 years, I am only devoting my time on yards. Ultratech has got near about 42 sidings, private sidings. And all have got a different history. Some were built in 80s, 90s. And I do agree it was a neglected area. But in last 3 years, what I learned, I'll share a couple of things. A, there were hardly few sidings which were good enough to accommodate the full rake. And the reason was you were breaking the rake in 2 parts, 3 parts, part placement, and you were taking 8 hours, 10 hours, wasting rolling stock completely. So the one thing we have done is already we have modified 22 sidings in last 2 years. That all should have a full length. The second thing is, in India, the locos were manufactured by Sen and all couple of companies. They were having limited capacity, 400 HP, 800 HP, and they were good enough when the rake size was 1600 metric ton. Today, our rake size is 4000 metric ton. Now we are changing the locomotives completely. That all locos are getting changed so that they can haul the full rake in one go. There need not to be breaking of rakes because of the loco capacity. The third thing is, which I think railway and private sector have to work together, is processes. Just by changing the shunting process in one bulk terminal, I could improve my efficiency by 32%. And the feedback was given by none other than the people who were doing the shunting job. We were doing something wrong there. So the question is, we are going up to the grassroots level, that what needs to be done, and learning from everybody, whether it is loco driver to shunting person to placement to length of the track, locos capacity, everything is part of yard design. And believe me, it can bring 20 to 25% improvement in efficiency.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I would now request, I think we are running slightly above time, so I request everyone to please follow. Okay, we'll take one last question, please.
Hi, I'm Sachin Bhanushali. A hypothetical question to the cement industry and the representatives of the industry who are on the dais. Given an opportunity to develop infrastructure on railway land, which is essentially in the nature of shared infrastructure, and shift away from the BCN model where back cement is carried in BCN wagons to semi or fully automated handling of bulk cement handling by way of specially designed wagons, will it be possible for the cement industry to shift a large part of its road-based transportation to rail-based transportation. Is it possible to increase the rail share significantly by getting these two important concessions? Access to land for development of shared terminals and development of automated facility both at point of origin as well as point of destination. Both of you are requested to answer this.
Will answer. I'll take first on this question that with due permission I'm taking. See, two things are there. One is material integrity. The problem in cement is that even within one company, we cannot make cement brought from two plants. So everybody will have to have a dedicated silo and unloading system. If those two things can be kept dedicated to a company, then I think the common utility can be of the track. Track can be commonly utilized, so 60 crore investment is knocked off, that is a shared investment. Even land requirement becomes because in bulk terminal the land requirement is only because of rail track. If rail track is provided, then the total plant can be put up in 4 acres or 5 acres, that's it. So I think we are open for this. If this suggestion comes, we have absolutely no problem.
What I meant was that a rail cement complex which is shared by all cement industries and there's a common
The only gray area is, I tell you, conflicting everyone has got a different interest. Like in a market where you have got a market share of say 30% or 35%, you are more than willing to participate. But if someone is having a market share of only 5% or 6%, then they will not find that investment lucrative enough. But the suggestion is most welcome, it is doable.
A short supplementary here, do you do bagging of cements because you have to carry it in BCN wagons, or is it an industry requirement? Can it be reduced by reducing dependence on BCN?
That's not about industry, it's about the customer requirement. So the segment is different. Okay. So today, yes, the India, the bag segment is more, which is roughly 80% is the bag consumption. Whereas if you look at Europe, it's mostly bulk. So it's 80-90% bulk. So this reverse will happen. What we are seeing in Mumbai. So Mumbai today is 60-70% bulk. And gradually the Mumbai would be 90%, 100% bulk maybe. So that's how it has to happen. A developed market will turn into bulk. The rural, semi-urban will keep on happening bag and slowly the conversion to the bulk. So that will happen for sure. So it's from the customer end, not that we wish. We wish bulk. Because at the end of the day, there is a cost of a bag also, which we have to pay, and customer is paying us. Coming to the shared, sir, what you said, yes, the shared facility can be there for sure. The silos, except the silos need the different silos. Apart from that, the track, the pit can be shared, not an issue at all, because the pit is a common pit from where the cement doesn't stay in the pit. And if this kind of facility can be developed, which is a shared facility, for sure the cost of investment per unit will go down. And that's how the things can evolve. A third party is coming with a shared facility. It can be a welcome proposition. In fact, when we approached, we had this kind of thing in the mind, can it be a shared facility? So that is a doable thing. Thank you.
Thank you. I highly encourage people to take the questions backstage when we meet for lunch. Thank you, speaker. It was a very engaging session. I would now request our moderator, Oja sir, to kindly present a token of appreciation to our esteemed speakers. First, I would like to request sir to present a token of appreciation to Shri Rajiv Mehta. Ladies and gentlemen, please have a loud round of applause. Shri Santosh Sinha. Shri Praveen Garg. I would now request Shri Amit Kumar, ED CTRAM, and Shri Atul Sanganeria from Data Vantage to kindly deliver the way forward.
Yeah. So it's been a very interesting and engaging discussion, and I would really appreciate the panelists and, of course, Mr. Mehta to be correct and not politically correct. Truly appreciate that. And the insights the speakers have brought in, I'm sure there are a lot of learning out of that. And it's not what I would like to say here is this is just a beginning. That this is a clarion call for us, all of us, that is, we have to wake up and do something different and something more than what we are doing right now. So we at CTRAM, we have collaborated with Data Vantage. Atul will, in a brief, summarize the proceedings and also talk about what we are going to do now with the discussions that we have had today and how we are going to go forward now with these recommendations and what more consultations with stakeholders and concrete things which will have to emerge, the actions which have to be taken. It's not just merely a discussion, all of us collecting here, having a discussion and forgetting it tomorrow. It's not like that. So we want to go ahead and we want to move ahead with these suggestions and these discussions. So over to Atul, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you once again to all the dignitaries who have already provided a very rich platform and a discussion, and to our stalwarts both from the industry as well as from the government to kind of summarize in terms of what are the main next steps. But as part of, as collaborating with CTRAM, we intend to come up with a kind of a recommendation in terms of a sector profile, in terms of, it's not just a sector profile, but in terms of the way forward, in terms of, how to integrate various modes of transport in improving cement. It's not just about looking at rail, it's improving rail's share in the cement sector, but it's also one thing which came out is how do we integrate the first and the last mile, the road, inland waterways. It's not just about efficiency, it's also looking at about sustainability, as Sir mentioned. It's also looking at, so we intend to look at the infra aspects, whether it's new terminals which have come up, what are the best practices from there, automation, the handling, the use of AI in terms of the route optimization. But also what came out importantly was also looking at the policy prescriptions, looking at, the new, I would say the bulk cement policy. How does that compare with, say, some of the other countries? I remember our esteemed panelists mentioning about European experiences. How does that also gel well in terms of, what are the policies? Looking at some of the institutional weaknesses and how that can be dealt with in the sector in terms of the logistics movement. So these were some of the points, some of the opportunities that there are for the railways, whether it's fly ash movement, whether it's lag, the innovative storage and warehousing solutions which were mentioned by the MD CWC. So that will also be looked into the picture. The competition from LNG and EV vehicles are there. For the shorter term, they intend to improve the movement in terms of the distance from what we heard in the future. But how does rail kind of compete with that in terms of the LTTC policy, having more longer term contracts with the clients? So all this will be put together. We'll be very, very consultative in our approach. It's not a supply driven exercise, as we all understood. It has to be more coming from the industry needs, the industry demands, and hence, and we'll be coming up with specific recommendations from various stakeholders and what would be the implementable time-bound solutions for each of the recommendations. So that is how we intend to move forward, sir. Thank you once again, and look forward to interacting closely with the associations and the private stakeholders, as well as with the government counterparts from railways and other organizations. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. I know it was a long session, but very engaging one. We would now break for lunch, and I request everybody to join us back here by 2:15, please. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. लेकिन आएंगे भाई, आप आइए, बिल्कुल आप धनसाना साहब आप लोग आइए, लेट्स फिक्स अ लंच फॉर मीटिंग करते हैं, बिल्कुल
अब चले जाएंगे सर। ओके। अच्छा वो है।
ठीक है। कल ही रात से हाँ हाँ अरे कलिया जोन किन हाँ कलिया जोन रुते उकन हाँ हाँ रुते उकन है हाँ हैं
एक मिनट हाँ बड़ा वाला जो गोल वाला ग्रीन है उससे फॉरवर्ड और उसके बगल में नीचे की साइड जो एरो उससे रिवर्स ये रिवर्स है ना दिस वन इज रिवर्स ना दिस वन इज फॉरवर्ड ठीक है
देखा